The Joseph Series, Story number 13, Joseph Reveals Himself, taken from Genesis chapter 45, verses 1 through 15. This is the final story in the Joseph series. It seems hard to believe, but apparently Joseph's brothers never once suspected his real identity. Although we know Joseph recognized his brothers almost immediately. And surprisingly, Joseph was not bitter toward them. In fact, he was so moved when he overheard them talking about the day of the abduction, he went off by himself to cry. So how do we explain Joseph's sometimes conflicting treatment of his brothers? What was he trying to accomplish? Was this Joseph's way of finding out if his brother's hatred and jealousy toward him had been transferred to his brother Benjamin? Perhaps he wanted to see if they were sorry for what they had done to him. Maybe he thought this was the only way he could be certain his brother and father were still alive. What we do know is that Judah's pleas for his brother's life and his father's welfare had a powerful effect on Joseph. But neither the Egyptians nor his brothers were prepared for what happened next. Then Joseph could not control himself any longer before the Egyptians who attended him, and he cried out, "Everyone, get out of here! Leave me alone!" So none of Joseph's attendants were with him when he revealed himself to his brothers. And Joseph wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard him, and the news quickly spread to Pharaoh's house. And Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father really still alive?" But his brothers couldn't answer him because they were so overwhelmed by his presence. So Joseph said to his brothers, "Come closer, please." And his brothers came close to him, and he told them, "I really am Joseph, the brother you sold into Egypt. And now don't be afraid or angry with yourselves for selling me down here, because it was God who sent me ahead of you to save your lives. The famine in Egypt has lasted 2 years, and there are 5 more years when there will be no planting or harvesting of grain. But God sent me ahead of you to protect our family and keep us alive through a great deliverance. So you see, it was not really you who sent me to Egypt, but God. And he has made me like a father to Pharaoh, the master of his house, and ruler over all the land of Egypt. Now hurry, go back to my father and tell him, 'This is what your son Joseph says. God has made me lord of all Egypt. Now come down to me. Don't wait. You will live in the land of Goshen, right next to me, you and your children and your grandchildren. Bring your flocks and herds and everything you have. I will take care of you here in the land of Egypt, because the famine is going to last another 5 years, and you and your household and everything you own will be reduced to poverty." And he said to his brothers, "You can see with your own eyes. My brother Benjamin can see. You can tell by my voice. It's me, Joseph. You must tell my father how I am held in honor in all of Egypt. Tell him everything you have seen. Then hurry and bring my father back down here." And Joseph and Benjamin wrapped their arms around each other and wept. And Joseph cried as he kissed each of his brothers, and afterward they talked with him. The Joseph Series, Story number 13, Joseph Reveals Himself, taken from Genesis chapter 45, verses 1 through 15.